I found out my wife was cheating, divorced her, and now she's homeless. This story has two updates: 12 years. We have been married for 12 years, and I keep thinking about that number as I sit in my truck outside our house. My wife works as a pharmacist at CVS and makes more money than I do. I am an electrician, always have been. Money was never an issue between us. She earned her degree while I was learning the trade, and we both worked hard. My wife has been obsessed with social media since we started dating. Instagram, Facebook, all of it. She posts pictures of everything: our meals, trips we take, random stuff around the house. Used to bug me sometimes, but I figured it was just her way. That morning was no different than any other weekday for us. I had a rewiring job at an office building and was going to be there all day. She was rushing around, getting ready for work. My wife runs late constantly. I was making coffee in the kitchen when I heard her car leave. Then I noticed her iPad sitting on the counter. She never goes anywhere without that thing. She had forgotten it because she was in a rush. I was going to text her about it, but she was probably already at work. The screen lit up with a message notification, some app I had never really looked at before. There was a message from someone, and the message stopped me dead in my tracks. "Can't wait to see you later, baby." I felt my heart beating a little faster. Her iPad is connected to her phone, so messages appear on both devices. I watched more messages come through, back and forth between her and this person. "Miss you already. Thinking about last time. Wish we could be together right now." I thought to myself, what the fuck is this? I picked up the iPad and started reading. This was not new. The messages went back for months. I scrolled up and found photos, pictures my wife had sent to whoever this was. Not the kind of pictures you send to friends. I mean pictures she wouldn't even send to me. What really got me was how normal things had been at home. We still had sex regularly, a couple of times a week, like always. She still kissed me goodbye every morning. She still asked about my day when I got home from work. We still watched TV together on the couch. I still knew her phone passcode because she never changed it. She never acted weird or suspicious, never gave me any reason to think something was wrong. But there it was, right in front of me. My wife was having an affair for months, and I had no clue. I put the iPad back exactly where I found it and closed out the app. But I made sure to take some screenshots of every conversation they had. I finished my coffee, grabbed my lunch, and went to work. Acted like nothing happened, but I knew everything was different now. I had no idea what to do about it. Could not focus at work. Kept thinking about what I saw on that iPad. My hands would not stop shaking, and I could barely wire anything properly. Other electricians noticed something was wrong. I told them I had not slept well. During lunch break, I went home. My wife works until 6, so I have hours. The iPad was still sitting there. A bunch of new messages waiting. I read through everything again. This guy works at some store, from what I could tell. They usually meet at his apartment. He lives by himself. No wonder they never needed to rent rooms anywhere. Started taking pictures of the messages with my phone. Figured I might need them later. All those late nights, she claimed to be doing inventory at CVS. She just lied so she could be with him. I scrolled back through months of this stuff. His place, some park, back to his place. The guy looks young from his profile picture. Really young. Found messages where she talked about me, called me boring, said she was not happy anymore, said she wanted more out of life. Reading that was almost as bad as seeing the photos. 12 years together, and this is what she thinks of me. I saved everything to my phone. Screenshots of conversations, including new messages, pictures, and everything else. Put the iPad back exactly where it was and finished my work. She got home around 7 like usual, asked how my day went, made some pasta for dinner. We sat on the couch watching TV. When she went to get ready for bed, I looked at the iPad one more time. New messages from him. "Thanks for this afternoon. You are incredible. When can we do this again?" She had been with him after work. While I was home going through her messages, she was at his apartment. I felt my heart beating hard after rereading those messages. She climbed into bed and put her arm around me. I said my back was hurting from work and turned away, lying there thinking about what to do next. I needed a lawyer, that was obvious. Had to figure out how to split everything up. The house, both cars, and our bank accounts. She makes more money than me, but everything is in both our names. This was not going to be simple. I wanted to know more about this guy too, where exactly he worked, where he lived, not planning anything stupid, just wanted to understand the situation. Her iPad kept buzzing with new messages. She had no clue I knew about any of this, still using the same phone passcode, still acting normal around me, but nothing was normal anymore. The next morning, she took her iPad to work. It was the first time she took it since she forgot it the day before. I watched her grab it off the counter and stuff it in her purse. She must have realized she forgot it the day before, or maybe she was getting paranoid about something. Either way, my source of information was gone. I called a lawyer from work, found one who handled divorce cases, and made an appointment for the following afternoon. I told my boss I needed to leave early for a family emergency. Not exactly a lie. I brought all the screenshots on my phone when I met with the lawyer. He looked through them while I explained the situation, asked me a bunch of questions about our finances, the house, and whether we had kids. No kids, thankfully. Always said we were waiting for the right time. Now I was glad we never had any. He said I had a solid case for adultery. The evidence was clear, but he warned me that it might not matter much in court. Our state does no-fault divorce, so cheating does not always affect the settlement. Still, having proof was better than not having it. We talked about assets. The house was worth about $300,000, and we owed $150 on the mortgage. Both cars were paid off. The savings account had approximately $20,000 in it. Her retirement account was bigger than mine because she made more money. I had some money in my electrician's union pension. The lawyer said we would probably split everything 50-50 unless we could prove she spent marital money on the affair. I had not thought about that. I started wondering if she bought him gifts or paid for dates. The lawyer advised me to gather more financial information, bank statements, credit card bills, and anything that shows unusual spending. I paid him a retainer and left. I felt weird driving home knowing I was about to blow up my marriage, but what choice did I have? She was already cheating. Marriage was already over. I just had not filed the papers yet. That evening, she seemed a little different, more distant. She kept her phone closer than usual. She took her iPad with her when she went to shower. She's never walked around with her iPad. That was a first. After her shower, we watched TV, but she barely talked. I wondered if the guy had said something to make her suspicious, or if she noticed her iPad had been moved. I tried to act normal, but it was hard. Everything felt fake now. She was sitting there next to me, pretending to care about some stupid show. I pretended I did not know she was texting another guy. During a commercial break, she got up to get some water, left her phone on the coffee table. I glanced at it, but the screen was locked. For a second, I thought about trying her passcode, but she came back too quick. Later that night, I lay in bed thinking about what the lawyer said, about proof that she spent our money on the affair. I had access to our joint checking account online, could look through recent transactions, see if there was anything unusual. She had no idea what was coming. Part of me felt bad about what I was planning, but then I remembered those messages, those pictures, how she called me boring, how she said she deserved better. She made her choice. Now I was making mine. Waited until she left for work the next morning. She took her iPad with her again. I got on our computer and logged into our bank account. Started going through the last 6 months of transactions. Most stuff was normal. Groceries, gas, utilities, and mortgage payment. But there were some charges that looked out of place to me. Expensive dinners at restaurants we never went to. A jewelry store purchase for $400. I never got any jewelry. Clothing stores I had never heard of, and some of them were online. Wine shop charges on days when we had no wine at home. The amount so far came to over $2,000. $2,000 of our money spent on her affair. I printed out all the bank statements and highlighted the suspicious charges, put them in a folder for the lawyer. Also checked our credit card statements online, found more charges there, another $1,500 on the credit card. I was getting angrier as I found more evidence, not just that she was cheating, but that she was using our money to do it. The money I earned as an electrician while she was off playing house with some kid. My phone rang while I was printing everything out. It was my wife. I almost didn't answer, but I figured that would look suspicious. She said she was going to be late coming home, had to stay and help with some inventory issues at CVS. I knew it was a lie. Told her I would grab something to eat on my way home from work. She sounded relieved. Probably meant more time with her boyfriend. After we hung up, I called the lawyer. I told him about the financial evidence I found. He said to make sure to bring copies of everything to his office. We set up another meeting for the next morning. I spent the rest of the afternoon organizing all the evidence, screenshots of the messages and photos from her iPad, bank statements with the suspicious charges highlighted, credit card statements showing the same pattern, timeline of her lies about working late. When I was done, I had a thick folder full of proof. My wife got home around 9 that night, said the inventory took longer than expected. We sat on the couch and she turned on a reality show, kept checking her phone every few minutes, but at the same time, I was on my phone pretending to look at the news while watching TV. I watched her typing messages and wondered what she was saying to him, probably making plans for their next meeting, using our money to buy him dinner or drinks, while I sat there like an idiot, working every day to pay for their affair. She went to bed early, saying she was tired from the long day. I stayed up late going through the evidence one more time, making sure I had not missed anything. Tomorrow I will give it all to the lawyer. Then we would file the divorce papers. My wife had no idea what was about to hit her. First update: filed the papers 3 weeks ago. My wife got served at CVS while she was working. The process server showed up during her shift, asked for her by name in front of her coworkers. She had to sign the papers right there at the pharmacy counter. She tried to call me about 50 times that afternoon. I did not answer. Came home that evening and found her sitting in the living room with the divorce papers spread out on the coffee table. She looked like she had been crying. She started talking as soon as I walked in, asking me what this was about, why I was doing this to her, acting like she had no idea. I did not say much. I just told her to talk to a lawyer if she had any questions. She kept asking me to sit down so we could discuss it. I told her there was nothing to discuss. I went to my bedroom and locked the door. She knocked for about 20 minutes, then gave up. The next morning, she was gone when I woke up, left her wedding ring on the kitchen counter. I found out later that she went to stay with him, her affair partner, moved right in with the guy she had been cheating with, did not even try to work things out or pretend she wanted to save the marriage, just packed some clothes and left. That told me everything I needed to know about how long this had been going on. You do not move in with someone unless you have been planning it for a while. My lawyer said her quick move actually helped our case. She made it obvious she had been planning to leave anyway. She hired her own lawyer after about a week, a woman who specializes in protecting cheating spouses, supposedly. They tried to claim the affair started after we were already separated. Complete lie, but they had to try something. My lawyer sent them copies of all the evidence, the messages, the photos, the financial records, everything dated and time-stamped. Her lawyer stopped pushing that story pretty quick. Now they are trying to argue that she should not have to pay me anything. Her lawyer does not seem to realize she actually makes more than me. My lawyer says that is not how it works, especially when she was spending marital funds on her affair. We have a hearing scheduled for next month. In the meantime, I changed all the passwords on our accounts, canceled my credit cards that she was an authorized user on, took her name off everything I could. She tried to come back to the house one time to get more of her stuff. I was at work, but my neighbor told me about it. She said she showed up with a young guy. It had to be her boyfriend. I had already changed the locks so they could not get in. The neighbor said they sat in his car for almost an hour, then left. She has not been back since. House feels different now, quieter, but not necessarily in a bad way. I am sleeping better than I have in months. My lawyer thinks we will have everything settled within the next few months. He seems to think I will get part of her pension, maybe the house and some alimony, but he said that's no guarantee. Found out from a mutual friend that she is telling people I was emotionally abusive, that I never paid attention to her. I forced her to look elsewhere for happiness. That same friend told me the guy she moved in with is 24 years old, works at a clothing store in the mall, lives in a studio apartment. Since he has no car, she has to drive him everywhere. Apparently, she is now covering most of his expenses, using the money from her CVS job to support some kid who is barely old enough to buy beer. I almost feel sorry for the dumb broad. Then I remember those messages where she called me boring, where she said she deserved better. Turns out, what she deserved was a 24-year-old who cannot even pay his own rent. Second and final update. Divorce was complete about 8 months ago. Got everything I wanted and then some. I keep the house. I got 40% of her pension. She has to pay me alimony for 2 years, $800 a month. My lawyer was right about the evidence making all the difference. Her spending our money on the affair really hurt her case. The judge was not impressed when we presented him with the receipts for all the dinners and gifts. Her lawyer tried to argue that $800 a month was too much. She said she could not afford it on her CVS salary. The judge pointed out that she seemed to have no problem affording $3,500 for her boyfriend. Case closed. She looked miserable sitting there in court, kept staring at the floor while the judge read the settlement terms. Her boyfriend was not there to support her. Found out why a few weeks later. Ran into someone who knows someone who works at the mall. Apparently, she and the kid broke up. Big fight about money from what I heard. He got tired of her paying for everything, or maybe she ran out of money to spend on him. Either way, he kicked her out of his apartment. This was about 2 weeks after the divorce was final. The same person told me she was staying in her car, sleeping in the gym parking lot after her shifts. She showered at a gym she joined just for that purpose. She does not have any family around here. Her parents live about 6 hours away. Too proud to call them and admit what happened, I guess. Or maybe she did call and they told her to figure it out on her own. Would not surprise me. Her parents never liked the way she acted, even when we were married. Always said she thought she was better than everyone else. Turns out they were right. She made her bed. Now she gets to sleep in it. Literally. Been getting my alimony payments on time though. $800 direct deposited into my account every month. The first thing I did was use it to pay down the mortgage. Figure I can have the house paid off 5 years early if I keep applying the extra money. Not a bad trade for 12 years of my life. Been thinking about dating again. Nothing serious, just meeting people. Maybe someone who actually appreciates having a stable guy with a house and a steady job. Someone who does not think those things are boring. My lawyer said if she stops paying the alimony, I can take her back to court. Garnish her wages directly from CVS. Hope it does not come to that, but good to know I have options. Meanwhile, she sleeps in her car and showers at the gym. All because she thought she deserved better than what we had. Funny how that worked out. The guy she left me for could barely afford to keep a roof over his own head. But I was the one who wasn't good enough. I am the boring one. I am the one who did not appreciate her. Right. Sometimes karma does not take 12 years to come around. Sometimes it only takes 12 months. Commentary. Well, the crazy thing is a pharmacist makes decent money. Her being in the situation she is in is entirely her fault.